Welcome back, everybody. Today we're taking a look at A Twisted Hate by Ana Huang.
Oh, yeah, this one's
Romance novel.
romance.
That's gotten a lot of attention lately. So
Interesting.
we are going to use some excerpts from the book itself and some reader feedback to kind of see what we can glean. So to start us off, A Twisted Hate focuses on Josh and Jules.
Okay.
Josh is a doctor. He's got that charming kind of playboy reputation. And then we have Jules, who is very strong-willed and really not into Josh.
So enemies to lovers is the setup here.
Yeah, it's a classic. We've seen it before.
Right.
And the way they kind of get thrown together is they share some similar social circles.
That forced proximity is a great way to build that tension.
Yeah, and the banter in this book is really something else. I mean,
Oh, is it?
there's this part where Jules spills wine on Josh.
Oh, no.
And he says, "Not bad, Jules. You're improving. You've graduated from water to Merlot."
Oh, my gosh. I see what you mean about the banter. That's great.
Yeah, and you can kind of see that like push and pull right away.
Yeah. A little bit of annoyance, but also that hint of attraction, maybe.
Exactly. And when we look at what readers are saying, I mean, it has an average rating of 3.97 stars.
Oh, wow. So it must be doing something, right?
Yeah, it's definitely resonating with people. And I think for a lot of them, it's hitting those key elements you look for in a romance.
What kind of things?
Like strong chemistry between the characters, good dialogue,
Okay, sure.
and a plot that actually keeps you interested.
It makes sense that it would get such good reviews then.
A lot of reviewers use words like explosive
Wow.
to describe Josh and Jules' relationship.
Really?
Yeah, they say it's the best enemies to lovers romance they've ever read.
High praise.
And they love the way the relationship and characters develop.
Yeah.
And they appreciate the steamy romance and humor.
Yeah, I mean,
And they also mention that the writing style is really good.
you can really tell when an author knows how to make you care about the characters.
Yeah, and that seems to be the case here. But there is another side to this story.
Oh, okay.
It's not all sunshine and roses.
That's fair. I mean, not every book is going to be for everyone, right?
Right, and especially with a book that deals with complex relationships like this one, you're going to get some mixed reactions.
For sure. So what are some of the things that people didn't love?
Well, some readers found Josh's behavior a bit problematic.
Oh, really? In what way?
They pointed out moments where he's possessive, even a little misogynistic.
Oh, that's not good.
There's one review that says, there are so many instances of Josh's behavior that's just not okay. He needs to get a grip.
So it sounds like for them, the hate part was a little too much.
And then you have some readers who just found the plot to be really predictable.
Okay, that happens sometimes, especially if you read a lot of books in the same genre. You start to see the patterns.
Right, and one reader even asked, but why in this story is it the only one for him to fall for, even somewhat reasonably?
Yeah, sometimes if that emotional arc isn't convincing, the whole premise falls apart.
And then another reader brought up the fact that Jules is engaged to someone else at the start.
Oh, right. I remember that.
And they wondered, if she was already engaged to someone else, how the heck is Josh suddenly the only man she's ever loved?
It makes you wonder about her motivations, right?
Yeah, but to be fair to the book, there are also quite a few readers who actually liked the possessiveness.
Yeah.
They saw it as a sign of like deep love for Jules.
Interesting how people can have such different takeaways from the same thing.
For sure. Like there's this line where Josh sees Jules dancing with someone else, and he says, she was beautiful, but the way she moved owned the dance floor, her body. A language only I was meant to read that was mine.
Yeah, see, that is a really interesting line because I could see how someone would read that as romantic and someone else would see it as like a huge red flag.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of what makes this book so fascinating.
Yeah.
It's not a simple love story.
Right.
It goes into like the messier side of attraction and relationships, and it really gets people thinking and feeling strongly one way or another.
That's cool that it can evoke such strong reactions. That's the sign of a book that really gets under your skin.
Yeah, for sure. And speaking of getting under your skin, it really does make you think, like, is this book actually problematic? Does it, like, glorify toxic masculinity?
It's a tough question, and I think a lot of it depends on your own personal experiences and how you interpret what you're reading.
Yeah, like we were talking about with possessiveness.
Yeah.
Some people saw it as romantic, and others saw it as, like, a huge warning sign.
It's almost like this book is a reflection of these bigger conversations we're having in society.
About gender roles and power dynamics and all of that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's interesting how a book can kind of spark those discussions.
But let's move on to something a little lighter for a second. A lot of the reviews mentioned how much they enjoyed the humor.
Oh, the banter.
Yeah, they thought it was witty and engaging.
Good humor can really elevate a story.
It definitely adds some balance to the intensity.
Right, because if it was all doom and gloom, it might be a bit much.
And I think that's something that's really important in a romance, you know?
What's that?
You have to believe in the connection between the characters.
Even if it's messy or unconventional.
Yeah, you have to understand why these two people who supposedly hate each other would end up falling in love.
Right, and it sounds like a lot of people were actually rooting for Josh and Jules.
They really got invested in their journey, and I'm sure the steamy scenes didn't hurt either.
Oh, of course. Gotta have those in a good romance.
It's all about that
Yeah.
build-up and anticipation.
Exactly, and I think it's worth mentioning that this is actually the first book in a series.
Oh, right, so there's more to come.
Yeah, it seems like Ana Huang is creating a whole world with these characters and their stories.
So it's like you get a taste of it in this book, and then if you want more, you can keep reading the series.
I like when authors do that. It's like leaving little breadcrumbs for you to follow.
And speaking of breadcrumbs, there were some interesting details that readers picked up on, things you might miss on the first read.
Oh, I love that kind of stuff.
Like early on in the book, Josh tells Jules, "You're going to be the death of me, and I'm taking you down with me."
Ooh, that's ominous.
Right. And some readers saw that as foreshadowing, that maybe their love will end up destroying them both.
It's amazing how much a single line can say sometimes.
There's also this recurring motif of the color red throughout the book.
Now that's interesting. What do you think that symbolizes?
Well, red can mean a lot of things. Passion, love, anger, danger, all things that are present in the story.
It's like a visual representation of the themes.
Yeah. And even the title itself, A Twisted Hate, it leaves a lot open to interpretation.
Yeah, what is the hate referring to? Is it just their initial dislike for each other or something more?
It definitely makes you think, and that's what a good title should do. So
Right.
who do you think this book is for? Like, what kind of reader would enjoy it?
I think it would definitely appeal to people who love that enemies to lovers trope.
Yeah, and who don't mind a bit of intensity.
And who appreciate some humor mixed in with the romance.
But it's definitely not a light read. It deals with some pretty heavy themes.
So you got to be prepared for that.
But if you're looking for a romance that's a little more realistic and thought-provoking, I think this is worth checking out. Before we go, if you want to check out A Twisted Hate for yourself,
Yeah.
we do have a link in the episode description where you can get a free audiobook
Oh, cool.
with a 30-day free trial on Audible.
Nice.
So what stood out to you the most about this book?
I think for me it was how real the emotions felt, you know? It wasn't
Yeah.
trying to sugarcoat anything.
Well-
The love, the hate, it was all there.
I think that's what makes the characters so interesting. They're not perfect,
Right. They mess up. They make you frustrated sometimes.
but it makes them feel human.
And I think that's what we connect with as readers.
Yeah, we see ourselves in those flaws and those moments of uncertainty.
It's like a reminder that relationships are never going to be perfect, you know?
They're messy.
Exactly.
So A Twisted Hate, with its, characters and themes and all that,
Yeah.
it really gives you a glimpse into what it means to connect with someone.
In all its messy glory.
And if you do end up reading it, we would love to hear what you think.
Yes, definitely.
Leave a comment down below. Share your thoughts.
Let us know if there are other books you'd like us to talk about.
Yeah, we always appreciate your feedback.
Always.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
Yes, please do.
We'll be back soon with more deep dives into the world of books. So until then, happy reading.